Toronto and much of the country is struggling with an overdose epidemic. In 2018 in Ontario, there are more than 1,400 opioid-related deaths. In an effort to save lives, supervised injection sites have opened in neighbourhoods across the city. As the emergency continues, what is the end goal? Is there a plan in place to do more than simply prolong the lives of victims of drug addiction? It's a tough question being raised by one downtown neighbourhood on the front lines of the crisis.
For us, we're watching people on the streets dying because there is no end game to this. So our question to all levels of government is, what does long-term success look like to them? Surely the goal can't just be harm reduction, because that's not working.
Jennifer Walker has lived in the neighbourhood for 20 years. She's also VP of the Cabbagetown South Residents Association. Her community has 5 supervised injection sites. Walker believes the centres play a vital role, but feels that some don't have the proper resources and space needed to properly help those living on the edge.
We need mental health for these people. We need supportive housing. We need shelters. We need a place for them to rehabilitate. And right now, all we're doing is providing harm reduction.
More than a year ago, street health at the corner of Sherbourne and Dundas Street was granted a license as an SIS location by the previous provincial government. But Walker claims the centre doesn't have adequate space to care for users on site after they inject their drugs.
They're in the laneways, injecting more, being left on their own.
So how many people could you hold at once?
You know what, I don't want to say a maximum because it depends on the activity and the acuity of what's going on in the site.
Clinical manager Joyce Rankin admits she wishes Street Health had the resources for more outreach workers and wants to have the centre's hours expanded to help more people using.
Long-term success is actually people living.
Living how long? Living a month until they overdose, or a year, or actually really living a full life?
I think it's a combination of both.
Rankin points out that recently the centre was pressured by all levels of government to put up these temporary fences. After area residents had complained, it had turned into an open-air drug market. There were concerns that people were coming after you guys closed and were selling drugs on the property and almost using your private property as a safe haven to sell drugs.
Yes, I've heard that. I believe a safe haven for drug use and drug selling is a bit of a stretch. I mean, the bottom line is people do not have a place to go.
This has been the scene at the front of Street Health recently when there hasn't been media outside conducting an interview. CityNews was also sent these videos of individuals allegedly high, wandering onto the private property of homeowners in Cabbagetown. There's going to be people who are watching this story who say, oh, here's another Cabbagetown NIMBY. What would you say to them?
I would say bring your children down here and walk around the community and see how safe you feel. Right now, they're creating another generation of homeless people and addicts by not coming up with a long-term plan. Street Health recently had their injection site funding pulled by the province, only to have their license extended to this January by the federal government. The centre notes that their area receives the second highest volume of 911 calls in the city and believes their program should be expanded, not shut down.